Thank you. I just have two things to share with you before we welcome Mr. Tawo Udele. And I would just, with something we have themed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope Agenda, the SME story. And please feel free to put your questions together if you have any questions as regards this. On the 29th of May 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sworn in. And when he was sworn in, after a few months, he appointed me as the DG of SMEDAN. And for clarity, if you have just come here and you don't know what SMEDAN does, we are the agency of government that acts as the intermediary between the small business ecosystem and government. We are the agency of government mandated for job creation, poverty alleviation, livelihood enhancement, and more importantly, poverty eradication. We are the people who are supposed to go into all your villages to make sure that you stop moving from your village to Lagos. We are the guys who are to go there and industrialize that village so that you see jobs in that village. That's what we do. We modernize the operations and we make sure that we develop the MSME ecosystem. Next slide. When we assumed office, this was what we meant on ground. And in this year, we are going to do another survey. At the end of this year, we'll see if Mr. President has actually developed the MSME ecosystem or not. Before COVID, when we counted the SMEs that we had in Nigeria, there are approximately 41 million. After COVID, we lost approximately 3 million SMEs. And the current statistics right now is we have 39,654,385 nano, micro, small, and medium enterprises spread across the 36 states and the FCT. I don't know if you should clap or we shouldn't clap. But when Mr. President came in, the first thing he said, he earmarked the sum of 200 billion naira for SMEs in Nigeria. That 200 billion naira, 75 billion of that was supposed to be for manufacturers, for them to access it at a single-digit interest loan. Another 75 billion was supposed to be for our SMEs, and 50 billion were for nano businesses. The nano business 50 billion was a grant. The difference between a loan and a grant is that the grant you don't have to pay back. So you had earmarked 50 billion naira for all our nano businesses, at least 1 million nano businesses across the 36 states and the FCT. How many of you are nano businesses here? Will you know? Do you know? Do you know? Okay, should I tell you? Yes. Please ask that man next to you. The SME on white, the man next to you, just tap him and tell him, should I tell you? Yes, sir. Yes. No, the man next to you, tap him. Thank you. Our nano businesses are businesses that have less than 3 employees and are not doing more than 3 million naira every year. So mama, papa, apprentice, oga, pikin, right? These are nano businesses. We have the next category, our micro businesses. Our micro businesses are businesses that have between 3 to 10 employees, but are not doing more than 25 million naira every year, as you can see. Annual turnover, 25 million. Our small businesses have from 10 to 50, but are not doing more than 100 million naira every year. And our medium businesses are businesses that have from 50 to 200 employees, but are doing between 100 million and a billion naira every year. Let me give you 5 seconds. Can you evaluate this and see where you fall? Keep it to yourself, keep it to yourself. So what Mr. President said was that this first category of people that are not turning over more than 250,000 naira every month, let us give them additional 50,000 naira grants. So you see a lot of people were saying, oh, 50,000 naira was too small, 50,000 naira was too small. But can we see the thinking that came out of that? 50,000, if you generate 5 million naira every month, and somebody says, let me give you 1 million naira dash, has the person tried? Yeah? Yes. So that's what Mr. President was thinking. Based on our data, you generate 250,000 naira, I'm giving you 1/5 of how much you generate free. Next thing, Mr. President, what we did as Medan was we went out to start to distribute the funds, right? We went to sign MOUs with different state governments. We signed with my predecessor, who was the governor of Katsina State. We signed with the governor of Anambra. We signed with the governor of Zamfara. We matched funds with Bank of Industry, and we are very, very grateful to Sterling Bank for actually earmarking the sum of 5 billion naira single-digit interest loan for our small businesses across the 36 states and the FCT. So, coupled with Mr. President's 50 billion for the nano businesses, 75 billion for the SMEs, and 75 billion for manufacturers, we have gone on to sign the sum of 12 billion naira single-digit interest loan for our small businesses in these different states and across the 36 states and the FCT. So, can we just show that again? So, those are some of the MOUs. So, with Sterling Bank, 5 billion. With the Bank of Industry, we matched to 1 billion. With Enugu State, how many of you are from Enugu State here? How many of you are from Kaduna State here? Yes, the head of the SM agency for Kaduna is in this town hall. So these are the extra funds that we've gone to democratize for our small businesses in these different states. Coupled with that, we are saying to you, if you're a small business watching us now, right now, across the 36 states and the FCT, we are asking you, we can't do it alone. We might not be able to reach you, but we want you to form an association, form a cooperative, because we have something called the One Local Government, One Product Initiative, where we want to lend to the cooperatives. We might not be able to lend to you directly, even though we're lending to some people, but we want to make sure that we're lending to you as a group, as a cluster, so that if that money does not reach you, it reaches your cooperative, and from that cooperative, each and every one of you can harness that fund for 3 things. 1, the cooperative can use the money for them to buy work tools or work equipment. 2, they can use the money to rent workspaces after which they can work from. And last but not the least, they can use the money to add to their working capital to continue to work. We've also noticed that a lot of people just go out and they're doing a lot of entrepreneurship education. Some people just gather, went 2 or 3 and gathered, and they do training and they give you certificates. We've stopped that. We've started to standardize entrepreneurship education in the country. And so we've come up with a curriculum called ICSS, Inspire, Create, Start, and Scale. When you're done with this ICSS, we are very, very certain that you can actually unlock funding. Because many of the banks come to us and say, Smedan, your small businesses are not equipped to unlock funding. And so we've standardized this entrepreneurship education to make sure that when you're done with this entrepreneurship education, you can unlock funding in Nigeria today. Next to that, we went to set up something called National MSME Council. If you're a small business today and you have a problem, let's say you're in Potiskum local government in Yobe, or you're in Kigwe local government in Owerri, in Imo State. If you have a problem, your first point of call is your SMEDAN office in your state. If we cannot solve that problem, the SMEDAN office in your state will take it to your association and your cooperative. If that problem cannot be solved at the association and the cooperative, then the problem is escalated to the State Council of SMEs. At the different states, the different state governors are the chairpersons of the State Council of the SMEs. If that problem cannot be solved in the state, then it comes to us. I am the secretary of the State Council of SMEs. If I can't solve your problem, I will escalate that problem to the chairman of the Council of SMEs, who is the vice president. As a small business owner, if the vice president cannot solve your problem, he will take the problem to the president. I often joke that if the president cannot solve your problem, please take your problem to God. But I don't think that there's any problem in Nigeria that His Excellency the President cannot solve. But also there's other things that we need to do. All of us belong to different states, and we are calling on the state governors to activate the State Council of SMEs in their different states. This is a rundown of the states that have activated, just like the tax law. We are saying to the state governors that have not inaugurated to please inaugurate this state council and help to support the small businesses in their different states to thrive. Also, all of us are here. How many of us understand that there's an SME policy that is currently in play, and we are in the process of reviewing the SME policy? If you are aware, with a show of hands, let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, our small business owners across the states and the FCT, we have an SME policy that is currently being reviewed. This policy is for you and everyone in your association. It's for all the small businesses across the states and the FCT. We are calling on you now. Let us know what is the policy that have worked. What's the policy that has not worked? What are the pain points for you? What are the things that you'd like to see change? Please go on our website www.smedan.gov.ng/policy and click on it right now so that we can hear your voice. We are not creating this policy in isolation. This is a national document that affects every small business owner in Nigeria. I said we want your voices to count, and we want each and every one of you to be a part of this policy change, because this policy affects everybody. All the 39,654,385 nano, micro, small and medium businesses in Nigeria, please, if you can hear the sound of my voice, click on www.smedan.gov.ng/policy to let us know the policy that you would like to have us effect in Nigeria today. Also, I would like to let you know that we have 23 industrial development centers, and we start to revitalize the industrial development centers. The picture that you're seeing right here is not China. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our office in Idu. Right now, a small business owner in Nigeria who is in the fashion, textile industry can wake up, come to our office, book a sewing machine, and translate their materials into finished goods like this. Do you like the suits I'm wearing? This is made in Nigeria. So we want to encourage our small business owners to continue to churn out apparels like this. If you come, you don't bother about buying sewing machines, you don't bother about maintaining the sewing machines, you don't bother about power. We have 24 hours power for you. We have gone forward to negotiate delivery with 9 posts to the tune of 15%, to God is Good Logistics to the tune of 20%, where you can distribute your products across the 36 states and the FCT at a discount. Solidarity. We have started this. We've moved to Katsina, we've moved to Osun, we've moved to Akwa Ibom, we're about to launch in Lagos. This facility is for each and every one of you here. Some of you are tailors. Can I see? Small business owners that are tailors. Are you aware of this? Yes. Are you taking advantage of this? Yes. We've started to do for woodwork. We've started to do for CNG. Very soon we'll launch other sectors. It's for each and every one of you who are small business owners. Please, I will indulge and ask that please be patient with us. If we are not in your state right now, we are working closely with your state governors to make sure that we can create facilities like this in each and every state in Nigeria, even go beyond that to the 774 local governments. Imagine we have this in all the 774 local governments. Do you know that we're going to reduce the high rate of unemployment for young people in Nigeria? Last but not the least, Mr. President has given us a waiver in this pilot phase to register 250,000 small businesses for free. What that means is that as a small business owner, you just need to go to portal.smedan.gov.ng, give us your registration details, and we'll pass this over to CAC, and then you get your CAC business name free of charge. You're not paying any dime. Some people say, oh, why are you doing this? You're doing this because you want to tax us. We have brought the special advisor to Mr. President to tell you this. that we are not taxing you. I've seen that some people have started getting their salary for January. They've started to see that they are paying lesser taxes than they were paying in 2025. And we conduct listening meetings across the different states. And these listening meetings, we have found out that the new tax law is one of the biggest issues. And it's on this premise that we are organizing this town hall to demystify all the questions on this new tax law. In December, when we were having one of our meetings, somebody said to me that they were afraid to enter 2026. I said, why? I thought it was because of the 30th December they were enjoying. Let's say because of the new tax law, my brother, it starts in January. I said, that you shouldn't be afraid. And because we've listened to you as small business owner, we have called the essay to the special advisor to Mr. President on tax reforms and policy to come here and start to demystify that. So it's on that premise. Please, with a resounding applause, join me as I make welcome Miss Dr. Professor of Tax, actually, Dr. Tao Oyedele, with a resounding applause.
Yes. Let me say a few things and then I will sit down. Okay. Please, you may sit down. Thank you very much to Smidan and to my dear brother, the DG. Very energetic, very intentional, and visionary. Let's appreciate him. He has been one of the few people that would not let me rest. He said, you must come and talk to our SMEs. So we've done this a number of times. And to be honest, you are the reasons why we have the reforms. So the reforms will mean nothing unless they work for you. And we are not doing you a favor. You are entitled to it. I was saying to some high net worth individuals in Lagos yesterday that these small businesses and the low income earners have been the one paying the taxes for a long time. It is time for them to rest so that these our high net worth individuals would also pay their fair share. Unfortunately, there has been a lot of misinformation. For a reform where small businesses should be excited, people now are afraid because of the misinformation. I have a friend who is a director at the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. He called me in December, very close to Christmas. He said he wanted to make a dress. And the tailor gave him a coat and it was quite high. So he just assumed that it must be because of the year-end festivities. Of course, if you have a lot of demand, your prices will go up. That's normal. So he said, you know what, I would wait because my own cloth is not time sensitive. I'll come back in January. The tailor said, don't wait, because in January it will go up even further. He was now confused. He said, why? He said, because of tax reform. And the man said, which part of the tax reform? Of course, the tailor has no idea. But that's what he's been hearing. That everybody said in January things will go up, tax will come. In fact, someone said to me in Lagos that they bought something, I think it was even food item. Maybe yam or something, and they wanted to pay by transfer. And the seller said, if you are using transfer, add tax money. Things we have heard is almost like African magic. So I'll spend about 10 minutes just to give you a quick overview, and then we take as many of your questions as possible. Now, I'm even feeling bad because the DG told me about this, and it is the reason why I came to Abuja, but I didn't even realize we're going to have this massive number of turnout. We had now agreed another event for afternoon for people who do payroll, because the tax reform law is meant to reduce the tax that employees pay. For 98% of employees, they will either not pay tax anymore, or the tax they pay will reduce. Up to people who earn almost 2 million naira per month. But there is a 2% of our population who are not poor, they are high income earners. They will see an increase in their pay. And then we recognize that some of these accountants and payroll managers may not understand how to do the calculation, and therefore their employees will lose out. So we said we're going to do a virtual session to train them. As at this morning before I left the office, 12,000 have registered. So which is a good thing for us, because it means that, imagine those 12,000 people doing the calculation correctly for their companies. It will be millions of workers that will benefit. If not for that, I'll be here until we are tired today. So in a nutshell, this reform was designed purposely to change the philosophy about how we do taxation. That philosophy before was that, anybody and everything you can find, just collect tax, keep collecting, invent new taxes as you go along. All manners of reports and analysis, including international institutions, said to us, your money is in the informal sector. They are chasing them all over the place. We have officially more than 60 different taxes and levies. Unofficially, nobody knows exactly how many there are, but we know there are more than 200. You cannot build a society where you don't allow businesses to breed. The secret to prosperity for any society is when we allow these 39 million nano, micro, small, medium businesses to grow. Just imagine 39 million of them hiring one more person. Just imagine 39 million of them just making an additional 1 million naira sale in a year. Just see what that means. Not only would that grow your economy, it grows it in an inclusive manner, because that's 39 million people across households in Nigeria. When the price of crude oil goes up and they say we make more money, it's not very inclusive. How many people work in that sector, right? But when you impact MSMEs positively, that's Nigeria itself. So you are Nigeria. So as a result of this, Mr. President said we should stop taxing poverty. We should stop taxing capital. We should no longer tax seed. We should wait, invest with the people so that the seed will turn into fruits, and then government can share out of it. As I was looking at the categories of nano, micro, small, medium, you see that we have majority of these businesses are nano, isn't it? Now that's our prayer for them, is they should make more than 1 billion in a year. We want them to grow. Yes, that's the whole idea. We want to have more of the nano becoming small, more of the small becoming medium, medium becoming large, large becoming multinational. There's no reason why Nigerian businesses cannot be earning billions of dollars from all over the world. Right? We're smart people. We have the talent. We have the capacity. But our policy sometimes has not been helpful. And that's what Mr. President says we have to fix. So under these new reforms, all the categorization apart from medium, that's up to 100 million naira turnover a year, you'll be exempted from corporate income tax. And then thanks to your very visionary DG, that you now have the Corporate Affairs Commission saying they will register you for free. By the way, don't relax for too long ago. You know why? We had a meeting with the Corporate Affairs Commission, and they are receiving about 5,000 applications every single day. We've never seen this before in the country. And this was one of the deliberate policy design of this tax reform, to encourage our businesses to formalize. Because when you formalize, it's not even about taxes. You become more organized. You have to meet certain standards and processes, like just keeping record, minutes, right? And those few things that you do differently prepare you for growth. They make you more investable. You are able to access capital. So it is a much bigger vision than taxation. So this is the principle here. Please register as quickly as possible if you want to register. So you can enjoy corporate tax rate at 0%. You would also not pay development levy of 4%. You are exempted from that. But whether you are registered with the CAC or not, if your business does not make more than 100 million naira a year from this January already, you don't need permission from anyone. It's in the law. You no longer need to charge VAT. So whatever you are selling, goods or services, you don't need to charge VAT. You are exempted by law. You also need to deduct, you don't need to deduct withholding tax when you are paying your vendors. And when anybody is paying you, they are no longer allowed to deduct withholding tax. Your money must be complete when they are paying you. And of course, for many of us, we have employees and we are not able to pay them millions of naira because we are small. Under this new tax reform law, employees who earn the national minimum wage or less are completely exempted from personal income tax or PAYE. They don't need to pay. Because of certain deductions and allowances and reliefs, actually, people who earn more than minimum wage of 70,000, in some cases up to 100,000 naira a month, will find that they also have no tax to pay anymore from this month. So, in addition to that, we used to have this provision they call minimum tax. Our law says, you have done your business, you did not make enough money, we are sorry, but you still have to pay tax to government. Just imagine that. Then you are paying tax from your capital. If a company is not making money, you are making losses, that's a company that is struggling. That company or business needs support. It's almost like saying that somebody is dying and you say, can you donate a bit of blood? That's just the fastest way to kill that person. That was what we had in the old law. It has been removed now. Because as we sit down here, we are talking about small businesses and 100 million. It's not everybody here that is doing 100 million or less. There are people who are doing more than 1 billion a year. There's also a lot in this reform for them. And that's why I'm giving you these examples as well. For those big companies, there's also a provision in the new tax law to reduce their corporate tax rate from 30% to 25%. And there's even good news that's even better than that. Under this new tax reform law, if you pay VAT for anything that you use for your business, you set up a factory, you buy a vehicle, you buy a mobile phone, even the airtime that you buy on your phone, it has VAT. You may not notice. Everything you pay for that has VAT that you use for your business, you can claim it back. If you're a small business, you are not allowed to charge VAT, so you don't have an issue with that. Now I'm addressing people who have more than 100 million who need to charge VAT. As you're charging VAT on your sales, government says, you too, any VAT that you have paid, we give you back. And one good thing about tax laws is you don't need permission or approval to implement it. The tax law is self-executionary. You can on your own just do it because you have been empowered to do it. Like you can just calculate the PAYE for this month and exempt your staff who don't earn a lot of money. You don't need permission from anyone. When you buy things and they have VAT, at the end of the month, you claim the VAT yourself. You don't need permission from anyone. But it will require you to have a bit of discipline in keeping records. You can't go to the taxman and say, trust me, I paid VAT. If government begins to pay you refund based on trust me, the country will be bankrupt. We know Nigerians are honest, but we don't want to take chances. So you bring the receipt, the evidence. And we're not asking you to go and hire an accountant because many of us can't afford. Accountants are very expensive, right? We can't hire lawyers. Good news. The new tax law says your accounts don't need to be audited. Management account is okay. Just put it together as you understand. If you find someone that is still doing 100 level, that can it doesn't have to be a perfect account. Just put it together the way you can. And when you are keeping your record, it can just be anytime you buy, take your phone and snap the receipt. I would encourage you as much as possible, pay for everything online by transfer because it helps you. Even if you forget later, you can print the statement. If you are doing cash payments, you will struggle to remember. Some of us can't even remember what we did yesterday. Say, who did I pay? In addition to that, because we also recognize you don't have the capacity to defend yourself because you don't need to be a tax expert to be a small business owner. Where is that required anywhere in the world? No, it's okay for you not to even understand numbers or finance or tax. But then if you are doing your business and you don't understand finance, which means you can't defend yourself, you also don't have the money to hire lawyers and accountants. So what do you do when some officers show up and they say, oh guy, you're in 5 million. They say, madam, you're in 6 million. They call the name of the tax. You have not even heard the name before. That was the position our people were left out in the cold. Because in that situation, the only option that is practicable is to start negotiating. It may be that they are not even owing. They start negotiating. In some cases, they are given private bank account. Pay. I can help you pay 2 million here. Government account pay 200,000. They extract money from these businesses. Sometimes they allow you to rest, not even up to 1 year. They will change the team. Other sets will come. Because you know that the payments you made, you can't brag about it. You keep paying. Under these new tax laws, we have set up the office of the tax ombud. The tax ombud is your tax friend, empowered by government, funded by government, taxpayers' money, to defend you. So if anybody comes and they're asking you to pay taxes that you can't recognize, or the ones you can recognize but in a way that you don't understand, or levies and regulatory fees, tax ombud is there to help you. You don't need to write Queen's English. You don't need to write a formal letter. You can just even call and speak your language. So they are setting up now the toll-free call center, and they're going to be communicating a lot of what they are designing very soon. Take advantage of it. And every single thing that office does for you is completely free of charge. Yes, we should appreciate that. This is one of the most transformative way that government is helping the small businesses. So you don't need to hire lawyers and accountants. Government itself is behind you, beside you, and in front of you. So you will not be exploited. We've seen people that they just close their shops. They order customers and staff out. How? Those things will stop under this new tax regime. One of the things I've been advising small businesses is that, sometimes, also because of the level of awareness and education, some people can't even understand what we're saying now. So I say to people to say, if we are pepper sellers, Nigerians are very sociable. There's nothing you are doing, there's an association for it. Do you agree? And that's fantastic. We need to take advantage of it because we're stronger together. So let's say we are an association of pepper sellers. There will be someone within that group who is comfortable to understand this process. Maybe it's Mama Sikira, maybe it's Oga Musa, maybe it's Yaimeka or Mama Toyin. Whoever, one or two, that we can train on how to escalate issue to the tax ombud. So within the pepper seller association, that Mama Twin, EI Maker, or Gamusa is now their own tax ombudsman. So when they have issue, they just call Mama Musa, who knows how to escalate. So we make it very practical and relatable. So this is one of the areas we think you can help make the reform make more sense. The final thing I'll say, and I'll sit down so we can take as many questions as possible, is to do with this issue around, tax harmonization, tax ID, bank accounts. This is one of the areas where they've created the most misinformation, because they know every normal human being is sensitive about their money, isn't it? Whether you are rich or poor, if you hear that they will touch your money, you will react. Even people that steal money, they don't want anybody to touch it. How about people who are sweating inside the sun day and night? They don't joke with their money. But do you know all of it is a lie? Nobody will debit your bank account. And that provision they are using to create misinformation has been in our tax law since independence. If they wanted to abuse it, they would have abused it since. Why would you need to enact a new law to abuse the power you already have? It doesn't even make sense. So, the law does not allow the tax authority to debit your bank account. What the law says is that if you have tax to pay and you don't pay, the taxman can ask you questions. You haven't filed your returns. We see that you bought a new car, you built a new house, you travel abroad. This is information we have about you, but we can't see your returns. Can you please explain? You explain, and they say, we think you are owing government 2 million naira. They'll send you the assessment. The law says you have 30 days to disagree. You say, no, I'm not owing anything. Or maybe I'm only owing 10,000 naira, or even 1,000 naira. Whatever it is, you say it. We call it objection. The taxman will look at what you have said. They will revise it. I say, okay, we agree with you, but it's not 10,000, it's 50,000. The law says as many times as you receive that assessment, you have 30 days every time to say you are not paying and explain. If any of you gets tired, the taxman is usually the one that gets tired. The law says the taxman must issue what we call a notice of refusal to amend. The taxman says, this our going back and forth is too much. I'm tired. I'm no longer interested in changing the number. At that point, the law says you as a taxpayer, you have the right of appeal. That's when you go to tax appeal tribunal. After the judgment, you don't like the outcome, you go to the high court. You don't like the outcome, you go to the court of appeal. You don't like the outcome, you can even go to the Supreme Court. Now, court now say, you are owing. And it's 500,000 naira you are owing. At that point, the tax authority is given the power to give you number of days you must pay. The taxman says, now the court has determined that you are owing 500,000 naira. We give you 21 days to pay the amount. If you can't pay the amount in 21 days, come to us and have a payment plan. If you refuse after that deadline, that tax authority has the right to write to anyone who has money belonging to you, including a bank, to take out of your money to pay the government. Do you think that this process I've explained now, do you think is right or wrong? Of course it's right. You cannot have a society where I can just decide to ignore my taxes and it will end up that I'm not paying anything. Then nobody will pay. Society will collapse. So this is the international standard. It is not a routine requirement or power. It's a last resort power of the taxman. And that is why I'm sure nobody is aware of when it abused it. The only time FRS wanted to use it was they were using it to make people come to them, which we even disagree with at that time. But now there's safeguard. So nothing to worry about. Please do your transactions. Collect money transfer. Use money transfer to make your payments because it will help you under this reform. And there's absolutely no risk whatsoever to your money or to you or to any taxes. Nobody will ask you to pay tax on gifts. Nobody will ask you to pay tax on remittances. those things are not taxable. You may have heard the misinformation around all of that. And the taxes they make you pay when you are going around states and local government, you are transporting things, that one also is being addressed. We have 11 states have enacted, because the Supreme Court says we can't dictate to state and local government. So what we did was to draft a law along with the Joint Revenue Board. We used to call them JTB before. We sent it to all the states. Please enact for yourself. And we are so impressed and very grateful, particularly to our governors, because the speed at which they are enacting this, even me, I'm pleasantly surprised. 11 states have already enacted. 10 states have it with their houses of assembly, and the other states are at the final stages. This was one of the updates we gave at the National Economic Council meeting about 2 weeks ago, and they've asked us to come back again about next week or 2 weeks' time. That's to show you the interest in solving these problems. We also realize that some of these nuisance taxes are even in our constitution. TV levy, radio levy, bicycle tax, wheelbarrow tax. Who puts wheelbarrow tax inside? Constitution. So we've written to the National Assembly, and the lawmakers have also been very, very supportive. So we've proposed to the National Assembly to kindly amend the Constitution and remove nuisance taxes. No country can become rich by taxing poverty. So, as part of this process, we have drafted a presumptive tax regime that is awaiting final approval, where very small businesses, in fact, we're even looking at 12 million turnover in a year, will be completely exempted, and we even give them an exemption sticker so that nobody will bother them. Let them just be in peace, right? So, and as the states are enacting this harmonized law for themselves, they are outlawing all these taxes that have placed a lot of burden on us for many years. Part of that is we have instances where taxes are being collected legally in an illegal manner. And we have many illegal taxes being collected by state and non-state actors. The reason why this happens every time is most times the taxes they collect from you goes into private pockets. And one of the incentives for that going into private pocket is because they collect it in cash. So the new law that is being enacted says they can no longer collect taxes in cash. It also says nobody can create a physical barrier, roadblock, spikes, wood with nails to collect taxes, right? We want a decent society where things are done properly. If somebody has tax to pay, they should be able to pay on their mobile phone. After all, they buy airtime on their mobile phone, isn't it? If they feel like using bank account, let them use their bank account. If somebody has no bank account and they have no mobile phone, they should not be paying any tax in this world. Life is already difficult. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, it deserves a resounding applause for that. Are we ready with our questions? Okay. Where's Moshe? Okay. Let's see. Questions. Number one. Okay. The gentleman in front here. 1. Please take your number. Number 1. The lady. Number 2. The guy behind the lady. Number 3. The gentleman in black. Number 4. And the lady beside number 5. Let's do that. First 5 questions.
So can they go for what?
No, let them sit where they are.
Okay, so
please go to them. Direction.
Be precise and straight.
Yes.
Okay, good morning, sir. My name is Sadiq Aboka.
You may sit down. No, I'm sure they want to recognize the various games.
So there is no doubt about the tax reform. I've read it. There is no doubt it's not entirely Nigeria. But as you said, the misinformation is the problem. So please, how can we do that? Like, how can you people help us? And like, the ordinary tomato seller or Kolalo seller in Kano cannot speak English. How can you people do and write this tax reform laws in our native language so that everybody can be involved? Everybody, because the misinformation is very, very terrible. Thank you very much. Sorry, sir. We have some DDSPs that are here, and they are closely working with the MSMEs. And I think...
yes, let's take this first 5, okay, and we'll come to them.
So, who's the second person, please? Please stretch forward.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Chibuzo Olodugo, and I'm a tax consultant. So I just have like 2 strict questions. The first has to do with input VAT, and the new tax reforms has been able to allow other business sectors enjoy input VAT. So I want to use the supermarket as an example. So the supermarket sells some items that are vatable and non-vatable, and they also purchase items in which their vendors would have charged them VAT. For example, maybe they bought Coke or something else. So how do they utilize, take advantage of the input VAT to reduce their, to net off their output VAT, to reduce their tax VAT payable at the end of the month? So that has to do with the supermarket. And I also have a question when it comes to the oil and gas sector. So for a business that has been classified under the oil and gas sector, we all know that under the oil and gas sector, you are by law supposed to hold back VAT and remit on behalf of your vendors. So now, in respect to input VAT, because those oil, for instance, an oil servicing company, so you provide service for Ajib, for instance. Ajib has already hold back VAT and remit on your behalf. You have vendors in which you purchase items from. They've also charged you VAT, and you decide to hold back and remit on behalf of your vendor. So how do you enjoy the input VAT at the end of the day? Because it looks like it's a bit impossible for you to be able to net up, because we're saying input VAT, the difference between your input and output VAT should be your VAT payable at the end of the month. But your VAT payable now, and Ajib has already withhold it from your invoice and remit on your behalf. So how do you utilize that? Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3.
Please go straight to it.
Your name and what the Lord has done for you.
My name is Abraham Babatunde Kehinde, like Tatawo is my twin brother. Yeah. And I'm a PDSP. I have 2 straight questions. Number 1 is, why are tax credits resulting from withholding tax not cashable? Why are they not cashable? And, most times they are not applicable and, at point of assessment. So why are they not cashable? That is one straight question. Then the other one is maybe a direct consultation, I will call it. I have a client who, I'm a BDSP. I have a client who is a consultant, who runs conferences, workshops, even for government. And his account is being used to fund the conference to the tune of hundreds of millions, so to speak, like, renting for heating, halls, food vendors, all that. So the turnover on the account becomes so huge. And so, how do we now calculate using his bank statement, get his own amount, and then be able to determine what tax is to be paid eventually? Those are the 2 questions.
Thank you.
Are you number 4? Who's the 5th person, please? Okay.
I just wanted to explain, our BDSPs are business development service providers. They help us go into the nooks and crannies to help with capacity development and small business issues for our small businesses. Thank you.
Okay. Good day, sir. My name is Okoli Valentine, and I'm a nano business owner. I would like to just go straight to the point and ask, because the tax law, it's really too much for me. What we do, we are into food processing. Now, I was speaking to one of the tax people that works in FIRS, in one of the offices, and she said that we are supposed to be paying VAT in as much as we are adding value to the raw cassava. So I want to ask, am I to withhold from that is from selling, am I to add tax from the information she gave me or not? That's one. Then secondly, please, yes, last question. Secondly, please, I would love that these accountants that that we may be asking for their services, is there a way we can verify them? Because there are so many of them that I've contacted. I'm not fit pay their money. Is there a way we can verify the ones that are cheaper? Yes.
Yes, the lady next to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ukoma Joy, and first of all, upcoming chartered accountant to the lady who spoke earlier. So I have two questions. First, when you were speaking, Mr. Taiwo, you mentioned that there's a platform ongoing for registering for accountants that you have a meeting with. I don't know if that platform can be made available for people here. And then secondly, I have a responsibility of remitting VAT. So the company I work with they are a platform for connecting service providers and service users. So are we to charge the service user for the service that the service provider is making available? That is, for every transaction that goes on, is the 7.5% VAT supposed to go on that amount? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's the first 5, Director. So let's give Mr. Taiwo an opportunity to respond to the first 5. Can we get another microphone, please?
Thank you very much. Excellent questions, very practical ones. So the first one is from Sadiq. How can we address this misinformation in a way that it gets to the grassroots? Fantastic question. Because this one that we are speaking Queen's English here now, many of our people don't even know what we're talking about. So there are 2 ways to it. On the part of the government, we're working with the National Orientation Agency. They're almost done with their work now. So you know that they can reach everywhere in Nigeria. So radio, all the languages, so they are doing that. But the one I think is going to be more effective, it is us, all of us. Because you're in this room now and you're following us means you understand English. If it's just one person that you can explain it to in their language, they will even trust you more than me. Because you won't come and lie to them. So let's do it together, because at the end of the day, it's for the benefit of all of us. But it's a very good point that we're working on. The second one from Chibuzo, input VAT, net off. For example, supermarket, they buy certain things, there's VAT, they sell some, there's VAT, some don't have VAT. So the way it works, for a supermarket, they need to find an accountant, because these things can be complicated and you don't want to make a mistake. So when you buy an item that has VAT, when you were buying it, and you are selling certain items that have VAT, so the law allows you to set off. So that VAT that you pay, let's say you pay VAT of 1 million on all the things that you bought, and you are selling them and the VAT you charge is 3 million. Before you give that 3 million to government, the law says take your own 1 million back. So which means you are the one paying yourself the refund. You now pay the balance to the government. But if you buy things and they have VAT, and when you are selling it, you don't charge VAT, government says you can't claim the VAT that you paid. Right? It seems very logical. On the other hand, there's what we call zero rated. Like basic food item. If there's anybody here that is into education sector, kindergarten all the way to university, and healthcare, those sectors have been turned to zero rated. What it means is, when you are charging for what you are doing, goods or services, you must put VAT at 0%. It looks like, why are they wasting their time? VAT, you must put it there, VAT 0%. By just doing that alone, you are entitled to claim all the VAT that you paid back. Let me take that again. If I run a school, I'll buy so many things. Laptop,
school bus, books, even maybe you have an iPad, telephone, airtime, all those things that you're buying, just make sure that you are keeping the record. When you are asking students to pay tuition fee, on your invoice, you must put VAT on it as 0%. Even though that VAT has no amount, but you must put it there like that. That's what now makes you eligible to claim all the VAT you've paid back. Now the question is, how would you claim it back since you don't have the one to use to offset it? Under this new tax law, we talked about that. When we pay taxes to government, it goes to government account, and at the end of the month they share everything. They don't leave anything behind. You now come back and say you have tax refund. There is nobody to pay your refund. That was why refund was so hard before. Under this new tax law, it says before government shares money every month, they must ask the tax authority, are there taxpayers that we need to pay tax refund to? They'll say yes. How much? They'll say the amount. The law says government must take that amount and put it in the special tax refund account before they share it. When it comes to this VAT in particular, the law says you must be paid your money back in cash. Abraham Babatunde Kennedy, why are withholding tax credits not cashable? That was before. Under this new tax law, all taxes, not only withholding tax, all taxes that is due to you as a refund is now cashable. I like the way you said cashable, cash. It's cashable, yes. How do we calculate? That's the other question that Abraham Kennedy has. How do we calculate receiving money for, let's call it reimbursements? Your job is an event planner. Maybe your own money is 1 million. They say go and pay rent for the hall. Go and buy food for the people to eat. Go and do adverts. Pay honorarium for the speakers. Before you know it, they put 100 million in your bank account and it's not your money. This tax law, we call it self-assessment. Is not my own. But you put msreforms.ng. You find a forms.ng. You find a copy of what the National Assembly has certified as it. All those people are called tax agents. People that can help you with your tax matters are called tax agents now, and they must go through an accreditation process to be sure they are doing the right thing. So what you need to do, as soon as you are done here, you just search and you see a link and you submit. Once you fill that link, it will take you less than 2 minutes.
Okay, we are here for you. We'll start with the lady. Lady in orange 1. The gentleman next to her 2. 3. Wait.
Hands and an unmistakable aroma. A brownish flour paste slowly transforms into a thick, dark solid as elubo is added bit by bit. Turned patiently in bubbling water, its smooth texture takes shape with every stir and every turn. Slowly, carefully, texture smoothens, firm, elastic, and alive. Steaming hot and served with slippery ewedu and rich gbegiri, amala is a meal that has long spoken of home in southwestern Nigeria, often paired with assorted meats called orishirishi, fish or other protein of choice. Originally associated with the people of Oyo, amala is more broadly a staple of southwestern Nigeria. With excitement written across his face, Mr. Michael Adebomi, a native of Oyo State, residing in Abuja, explains what amala represents to the Oyo people.
That's our main delicacy. You know, that's our go-to food. You know, it's our original food. That's what we see around. That's the exciting food. That's like our rice. You know, when people say, you know, you eat rice for festive period. When we first come, the first thing, because you are just coming in, you know, they want to entertain you. They see you like, you know, you're a family member. They see you, oh, our family person has come back. Like, they want to give you that special treatment. So the water is already boiling. Before you say jack, you know, the amala is on your table.
And beyond just the food itself, he says the way amala is served matters deeply. Perhaps that deep cultural attachment helps explain why amala has found wide acceptance beyond the southwest, particularly in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Today, Abuja has more than 10 restaurants in the city center alone that not only sell amala, but proudly carry the food in their restaurant names. One of such establishments is Amala Place, which claims to be the first restaurant in Abuja to open with amala as part of its name in 2013. The managing director, now the daughter of the owner, who recently took over, says it was a risk that ultimately paid off.
The idea of just letting people know what we already offer, what we're selling, without them thinking too much of who we are, what we are. And we wanted to bring Yoruba cuisine to the front line at the point.
It is safe to say amala has now become one of Abuja's popular meals, as the love for the dish cuts across tribe, class, and nationality. For the two brothers behind Amala Central, one of the most popular amala spots in Abuja Central area, the decision to focus on amala was deliberate.
I think Abuja generally loves amala. So amala is always an attraction when you have this kind of setup.
Despite increasing competition, the brothers say demand remains strong, with the restaurant producing an average of 10 pots of amala daily. About 60% of their customers, they say, come specifically for amala.
It's been very competitive, you understand, because everywhere you go now, you see amala at different joints and every corner. But the good thing is that the population is enough to actually go around for everybody. You can't even feed everybody.
For this once regional food, its appeal is no longer limited to one tribe or region. Across Abuja, amala has become an attraction in its own right, drawing customers from every background.
So we can't just say it's strictly Yoruba people would even expect here, because this is not a Yoruba land. So we get everybody down, so even people from the diaspora. We get Asian people, we get white, we get Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, but majority our customer base will be the northerners.
The surprising thing is that, you know, we have Hausa people actually, you understand, eating amala, because it's similar to, I think, two or something. So we have customers from all some corners of Nigeria, even foreigners, even Chinese people.
Amala's journey mirrors the city itself, diverse, shared, and constantly evolving.
Abuja loves amala. Well, Abuja loves amala very, very well, extremely well. It's in fact, it's a plus now. One of those days where you see people forming that they can't eat amala. You see the chicks the babes, the women, the parents, the uncles, aunties, everybody's in amala, to be honest. There's no funny.
Everybody loves amala because I think amala now is a vibe.
It's a vibe, actually. Yeah.
It's a vibe now.
This is Dana from the Philippines. Her excitement and enthusiasm says it all. Amala indeed is a vibe.
Every time I visit Nigeria, I always try amala. Of course, it's mandatory to have amala.
It's mandatory.
Yes, it is.
Who taught you? Who taught you how to eat? Who introduced you to amala?
I have one Nigerian friend, so she brought me here and introduced me to amala. Since then,
you're hooked. So describe it. How is it? How is amala?
I mean, I like the sliminess. I know some people they don't like the sliminess of it, but for me, I really enjoy it. Very tasty. I come from Philippines, and we don't have anything like this, so I really enjoy it.
This is a wedu amala and a gbegiri.
Are you Yoruba?
No, I'm from Delta, but it's a cleanser, you know.
Yeah, you call it a cleanser.
Yeah.
So you came all the way from your home today to eat.
Yeah, I live far from this place, but I have to come here.
But behind the flavor lies careful sourcing. Restaurant owners say quality is everything, and that means going as far as Shaki, Kayama, and parts of Oyo State to source original elubo, especially as the market is increasingly flooded with adulterated products.
When it comes to sourcing, because we're in the north, yes, it takes a bit longer to get supply, but we do get it straight from the farmers. We use Shobodo, Obodo, yeah. So we source it straight from the farmers.
So we have people over there, they package it for us. We make sure that it is not tampered with or adulterated. You know, some people, they will mix it for you. And when you prepare it, you will not get the exact flavor you want. It might come out, the smell might not come out right, the color might be off, and the texture might be off. So we have to always ensure that we're always getting the right quality.
Though the business is profitable, the operators say it is not without challenges, particularly rising costs and broader socioeconomic pressures.
When we started, we were getting a bag of elubo at 35,000. Now it's between 165 and 180. So that is one of the areas. And you know, it's not only the elubo alone that comes with the total package. You have to think about the pepper you are going to use, the oil, the seasonings, and all these things. Pepper usually comes from the northern part of the country. So farmers cannot go to the farm to harvest their pepper, and you know, that will have its own adverse effect on the cost at the end of the day. Sometimes 2 months ago, pepper was like 18,000. It went to 24. Now, as at today, it's about 65,000 a bag. So all these things affect our business.
As of last year, when the inflation started coming up, there was a huge peak. It was not an easy thing to farm, especially yam. It's not all season. You have to plant in advance to get your supply. So it did affect the farmers. The farmers were frustrated. Us, the buyers too, were also frustrated considering the price. At the time when we started this business, what we were buying in bulk from was totally different from what we're buying now. And that's why, you know, some people, they come, they want amala, they want something as big as my fist. But like, I don't mind giving you as big as my fist, but it's just for you to understand that this is not just anyhow in bulk.
From this kitchen and many others like it across the city, amala is no longer just about tradition. It is about identity, enterprise, and a capital learning to embrace its own flavors.
For people who eat amala daily, it is more than food. It is comfort. It is a memory. It is a sense of home. And for a calm and diverse city like Abuja, this explains why a once regional dish now belongs to everyone. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Nigeria-born Chinenyewa Amadi has returned to the country after a tour of one ride, many lives from Lagos to France and back to the country. The One Ride Many Lives is an initiative for cancer patients within the country.
I embarked on this journey to raise financial support for cancer warriors currently battling cancer, especially those who started their chemotherapy and stopped halfway due to the financial situation in the country and cannot finish their chemotherapy. So that was why I embarked on this journey, to bring hope where there is fear, to bring strength where there is weakness. So that's the reason I started this One Ride for a Life. It's called a ride for several cancer warriors, just to give them an opportunity to keep fighting and to win this battle over cancer.
The self-sponsored journey was without challenges and accidents.
I have a flat tire. From Lagos, Nigeria, it took me a day. The distancing from Benin to Togo, it's not much, so it was done in one day. So I go all the way to Togo.